Grandpa, why don't you tell us a story? You've led an interesting life.
That's a lie, and you know it. But I have seen a lot of movies.
Alright, so welcome back to the channel, and this is my first official video of the channel Nerd Thoughts. I know, it's kinda, but that's where we're going with, I've decided. Today I'm going to talk about Star Wars, and Star Wars has always been a big thing of mine, as much as it for most people, but I came from a time when they even saw Return of the Jedi in the theaters, and I've watched Empire probably more than any other movie, maybe Aliens or Evil Dead, but those are like the top 3 movies I've seen over and over and over again. So Empire is my favorite. Today we're going to be talking about the prequels and what they meant to me when I first saw them, and what they mean to me now, what parts I don't like about it, and I'm going to even end with, I think, how I would change them. What would I have done differently? And I would have kept them pretty much the same. It's about 90%. It's really not that hard to make them really good, I think. I think somebody can almost edit it really pretty easily. I'm not that guy, but, maybe there's somebody out there that could. I'm not bashing Lucas. Understand that I think he's a genius. I think he's probably one of the most influential people of the last century when it comes to especially nerd culture. Like, he is probably the most influential person, other than maybe Stanley. And so you can say things like, oh, he did this wrong, he did that wrong. And I have reasons why I think he did certain things wrong, and I have reasons why the prequels aren't as good as the first ones. And you could also say his dialogue isn't good, which is his prob. I agree with you on that. And I think most people would agree with that. But that doesn't mean he's not a genius. That doesn't mean that he's not somebody we should admire. And I do. There's a reason why he's a millionaire, and is well-deserved in my opinion. All right. Before we start with episode 1, I want to talk a little bit about, this is a hot take, that I don't think Star Wars was written for children. I think it was written for young adults in A New Hope and Empire. And halfway through writing Return of the Jedi, I think he probably had a family member who's like, yeah, your kid movies are really like cool. And it's like, yeah, kids movies. And then he threw the Ewoks in there. And the reason why I say that is, one, there's a lot of severed body parts, like, and most likely Louis' severed arm from the ground. And then, there's a bunch of scenes like, Luke looking at sons, or I've met adults that don't know that the Dagobah scene wasn't actually Darth Vader. And like, I saw Darth Vader died in Dagobah. Why is he back and alive? Oh my God, really? And then there's the key reason why I don't think it was meant for kids. It's Princess Leia's a slave to Jabba the Hutt, and basically gets SA'd in that first half. Do you think he put her on a gold key for the children? I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think the prequels are meant for kids for sure. That's why I'm saying he became the bad and then went full kid movie on it. But I obviously don't think he did think that, and it kind of morphed into that halfway through Return of the Jedi, and that's why. So let's talk about episode 1. Do I like episode 1? I hated it the day it came out. I was a projectionist at a movie theater, and I watched it the day before it came out. And you have to understand, those days you didn't have like movie reviews. Like, I didn't look it up on the internet and read it. I would have to watch like Siskel and Ebert, on TV or somewhere that, or go to a newspaper. And I wouldn't have done that. But when it came out, I watched it the day before, because I was a projectionist, and I built a movie and I watched it, and I hated it. I loved pretty much everything about it other than Jar Jar. Jar Jar is what killed it for me. I don't think the dialogue was very good. That's fine. Whatever. Typical Star Wars stuff. I didn't think any of the performances were good. I didn't think Jake Lloyd, of course, like everybody thinks, was very good. And I didn't think actually Natalie Portman's performance was very good. And never. For usually young. And Liam Neeson, best actor in this movie, even his performance was a little disament. And he's playing a Jedi that's not supposed to have emotional range. So I thought episode 1 really lacked, and basically any sort of acting whatsoever, which is fine. It's not like it's Hamlet or anything like that, but Jar Jar definitely was like the biggest problem. It was just, everything else was great. I love Darth Maul. The fight scenes were great. The music was great. Ewan McGregor is my favorite part of the prequels, and how great Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that was my only real concern about episode 1. Let's talk about episode 2 now. Did I really have a problem with episode 2? I think on paper, it's probably one of the better of the 3. But the execution is not great. It's very boring. The acting of Hayden Christensen, of course, is a problem. But Willem de Wigger is my favorite part of the prequels, and I feel like that Obi-Wan Kenobi's portrayal is the best in Episode 2. You get the best of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, but regular criticism, I guess, of Episode 2 for me. And I didn't like it very much, and I think it is the worst of the three. Episode 3 is the one where everybody seems to like and think it's the best Star Wars now. And I have a love-hate relationship with Episode 3. There's parts of everything is like the best of Star Wars, and there's parts of everything is the worst of Star Wars. I think it's all flash with like zero substance. And the most important part of the prequels is the fall of Anakin. And it's just not. There's just no reason for it. It feels like it's just, I killed Mace Windu. Now I'm a Sith. Like, yes, there's a little bit of subtleness there, and then in the Visions thing, I have issues with the Visions thing. I'll go into that into a different video. But so the acting from Hayden, I think, was actually better in Episode 3. I think that wasn't as big of an issue. Obi-Wan Kenobi to me was less of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I hate of the Lizard, which is loud in office of the theater. I hate Hello There. I hate that he didn't get shot because there's no way he wouldn't have. Yoda fight, I have a huge problem with. People today still don't even understand it. The Emperor runs away. The Emperor isn't trying to fight Yoda. At the end, he just runs away. Yoda falls. He gets too far with the Emperor, and the Emperor just runs away. So Yoda doesn't lose the fight, technically. He lost the war. He failed to defeat the Emperor. He failed, for sure. But you run away, you lose. That's just how I see it. Then there's the Emperor killing the Jedi Masters, like, basically in slow motion. And how did that make it to screen? Like, how did killing Kit Fisto and 2 other Jedi Masters just slow and doing the stupid spin make it to screen? Like, how did anybody see that and go, George, we gotta fix this? And that is just terrible to me. It kills me every time I see it. And so that's my biggest issues with it. And the Visions things, I'll talk about that in a different video, but the Visions things is absolutely terrible, to be honest with you. How I would have changed it, how I would have fixed it, is I would have fixed the fall of Anakin, and that would have changed the people's from being okay to being probably pretty good. So with Episode 1, it's not a really big thing overall when it comes to like changing it for Anakin, but why did Qui-Gon not take Anakin's mom? He has nothing keeping her on the planet, and the only thing that's keeping the planet is you couldn't go in the desert and you couldn't get off world through snap money. But they've moved freely throughout the city. I mean, he's building pod racers, building droids. So, and I've heard in the books, like, there's transmitters, but that's not the movies. So would there have been a moral problem of Qui-Gon killing Watto? Probably not. Just take her. I don't know. So that always bothered me. And then in Episode 2, the part that bothered me a lot is that they still didn't save his mom. They made it very clear in Episode 1 that his thoughts are on his mom. And how does the Chosen One concentrate on being the Chosen One when his mom's enslaved? I thought that was a terrible plot point. I thought they should start the episode off with them in the elevator and him asking with Master, what's going to say to my mom? And then Obi-Wan Kenobi, saying, hey, there's rules. And the rule is Padawans can't contact their family, even their masters. So you know the rule. We can't do it until you're not a Padawan anymore. And then have Anakin go, hey, Qui-Gon would have done it. That would have been a big change that I would have put in there. And then just keep the rest of the movie kind of the same. Episode 3, the thing I would change, number one, I would keep the kidnapping the same, but I would change. Dooku would have kidnapped Palpatine and Padme. They're both, Naboo, so it would be not that big of a stretch. And so Anakin's like freaking out. It's in the middle of the movie instead of the beginning. And Anakin's freaking out. It's like, oh my gosh, Paddy's been kidnapped. My visions is coming true. And they don't know where she's at. And the Jedi Council is like, we know where Grievous is at. Anakin, I need you and Obi-Wan Kenobi to go kill General Grievous. Afterwards, we'll throw out the Padme thing while they're done. And he doesn't want to, but Ewan Ritter then convinces him that they need to go kill Grievous. And so he goes. And as he's on the planet, about ready to kill Grievous, the Palpatine uses the Force to basically kill Padme, basically make it to where she's going to die during childbirth. And he wants the kids. So he hides her and projects that pain that he did on her to Anakin. It's, oh my God, the visions are coming true. She's screaming out for me. And he thinks it's Dooku. But in those visions, he figures out where they're at. Emperor tells him, basically. He goes there, kills Dooku, takes away the part where Dooku picks up Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is catastrophic. I hate that at the beginning of something. It's catastrophic for the the original trilogy. But so he removed that out, and it's like, where's Padme? And Palpatine's like, she's dead. Dookie killed her. And of course, she's alive, shielded by the Emperor musing how she's there. And of course, that turns into the dark side. And then Palpatine's there like, I'm a Sith, and the Jedi did this. We can avenge Padme, we can avenge your mom. And that's just all what the Jedi have been. They'd held him back from saving the people he loves both times. And this is just a breaking point for him. That's a real turn, not the, oh, I killed Mace Windu, now I'm a Sith. No. And then the movie just plays out the same way. Like, it's not that much different. And then, and Padme doesn't have a broken heart, Padme guys, because the Emperor willed it. And that's just a better ending. That's just a better turn. And that saves a lot of the prequels, in my opinion. Why I think Lucas kind of had a problem. Lucas got to the god status that he probably was when episode 1 came out. Like, he is like a nerd god, made a ton of money. People loved him and admired him, and no one, I think, questioned him. I think when Empire was being made, he didn't direct it. So, like, there was somebody that had a little bit of say and a little control. And I don't think anybody stopped Lucas from doing certain things, like making Palpatine slowly kill Jedi Masters. And I think Lucas is really, really good at world building, ideas, and plot points. His issue is I think he has a hard time connecting plot points. So he's like, I want Anakin to be a Jedi, then I want him to fall in love with Padme. You need to get there, and his dialogue isn't great. So connecting dots needs to be helped. He needs help in that area. And with him being as dusty was, I don't think anybody really helped him, and no one really questioned him. And like, they didn't go through his writing and go, this needs to be changed, that needs to be changed. And so I can guess where the prequels kind of fall short. Now, there's still great ideas. I love the world. I love the characters. But the fall of Anakin was where it really, really fails. And I don't know. That's just where it was me. I didn't like them when they came out. They've drawn me a little bit more. The graphics have gotten bad. I was actually episode 1 graphics have gone downhill. And I think a lot of the problems, too, is the working in the green screen was also a problem for the actors. That was like the first real movie. And even like in Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff, like Ian McKellen and all that have all talked about how like that was their first experience, and it was just awful. So I can't imagine what it was like for the people in Star Wars when they kind of are based with the pioneers of that green screen era. And if you didn't learn that in acting school, I'm sure they teach green screen acting in acting school these days. So I don't know. That's where I lay on it. So if you ever, comments or something, that's put in the down below, I'll answer you about it. And if you liked it, great. I'm happy for you. I just think it felt short. All right, that's it for this one. We'll be on the next video. I don't know what it's going to be about yet, but it'll be soon.